Alright guys, welcome to our third YouTube video audio editing tutorial. Well, actually this one isn't really audio editing, but it is an audio tutorial. Today what we're going to learn how to do is generate sound effects. Now in our first audio tutorial, we taught and gave some tips on how to record and edit real life sound effects. But sometimes when you're playing games, your sound effects aren't really going to sound like real life. Imagine playing an old Mario game. When he jumps, does that sound like anything in real life? Sometimes when you get sounds like that, you actually have to generate them or create them inside of the computer, and you can't really record them from real life. And so that's what we're going to be learning about today. We're going to be doing that with Audacity, and then we're going to be doing that with 3 websites I know of that you can use for that purpose. So let's go ahead and get started with Audacity. To generate a super cool sound effect, well, it's pretty obvious what you'd probably do if you look around a little bit. Just look and look and look. We've got this right here, generate. And so we've got a number of options here, and I'm just going to go through them real quick. So let's click on chirp real quick. Now what we've got, I'm not actually going to click OK. I don't think I can just click preview, so let me click that real quick. So we have a simple sound effect already. That's generated. It'd be hard to record that from real life. Now you see we have a number of settings here, because if we don't use the settings, our sound effects are going to sound a lot like everybody else's. They're not going to sound unique. And so we have a lot of settings here. Now first of all, we have several different types of chirps. We have a sawtooth. A lot of different settings. And then we have the frequency we can change. Let me change that to 100, for example. Okay. Or 2000. That's going to make it higher in pitch, I believe. And so you see there are just some cool settings you can change with. Suppose 0.1 to 0.1. It's a lot quieter. And then we have interpolation. We can change that to logarithmic, for example, whatever that means. And so we have a lot of settings, and you can actually change the duration. Suppose I want to change this to 1 minute and 1 second. It's a little bit longer. So let me change it back. I think that's what it was. And so, yeah, you can just generate a sound effect like that. Just click on that generate option, and you have several different options, and you can just change them and edit the settings. So let's check out some other ones. We have Dtmf Tones. Just to put it quickly, it's basically like phone tones almost. So if I click preview, it's gonna sound like that. And there's some crackling in it for some reason. Suppose we change the amplitude. It's a lot quieter. And we can also change the duration. Suppose I change it to 3 seconds. And it changes how long they are. And I could actually change the tone silence ratio, suppose like that. And there's not as much silence in between them. So just some different settings to play around with. It can look very complicated, but it's actually not really that complicated. Okay, and then you can generate some noise. Noise is basically like a static background style sound effect. I'm not going to go into much detail with this. I like Brownian a lot because it's very soft. Whereas noise and white, they're a lot stronger, and they'll just make, I don't know, your brain turn to mush or something. It just makes my brain feel weird. And then we've got silence if you want no noise at all in part of maybe you're making an audio adventure or something. I don't know. So that you use silence for that, and you can set how long it's going to be. Then you've got tone. Just a simple tone like that. And again, you can change the type. And you can also change your frequency. Suppose I change it to 1000. I like how that sounds. And you can also change the amplitude or whatever. And you can change the duration by just clicking somewhere, inserting a number, just clicking wherever you want it. So, and then we've got some different options down here. Click track. Now you see when you move it, you're going to have a little pop out menu like this. You can just click on it. I don't think it really matters which one, but you see here now we've got an option. You can preview if you want to. And so, yeah, we have that, and we have a bunch of options here. For example, the type of noise. See, it sounds different. We've also got noise. And we've got a bunch of settings here. I'm not really going to go through it much, but you can change them. For example, 1000. Oh, that's too much. Suppose 40. and that changes some of the settings. It makes it a lot slower, so the more you have, the more it's going to be per minute. And so you'll just have something like this. So that's the click track. Then you've got a pluck, which is basically like a guitar pluck. You can preview it. You can have some settings. You can make it end very abruptly. Gradual, you can change the pitch, for example, 100. And you can change how long it endures, up to 30 seconds. Alright, let me just click once. We got a guitar pluck. So it generated a guitar pluck. Now, even though it can generate things like that, Audacity isn't really good for creating music. It just doesn't have enough tools or options for it. You can do it a little bit, but it's not designed for it very much. Not for generating music, at least. For editing it, it might be able to. And then you've got this risset drum right here, which is basically a drum. It's very low pitch. So, for example, if I change that to 200, you know, we have something like that. And then you can change just some different settings. You know, just playing around with a lot of the settings is how you do it. And so that's it for generating with Audacity. And those are some different options with. And if the settings are made right, you can actually create a decent variety of sound effects, but it's not a whole lot. And so that's where you could actually get some plugins, which I'm not going to go into much detail in this tutorial, but they're kind of like something you plug into Audacity where you can do more than the original program was designed for. So now we're done with Audacity, so let's go ahead and go to Chrome or whatever web browser you use. And I have several different websites I use for creating and generating sound effects. So this first one right here is called AS3SFXR. Then we've got Chip Tone. Then we've got BFXR. They look scary, I'm sure, but they're actually not that scary. So let me show you how to do it. So to generate a sound effect, it is extremely simple. You see we have a number of options. Here we have about 7 buttons right here. So if I click one, it generates a sound effect. And so this right here is a whole list of settings. It can be scary, but you can actually learn with time what they do. I'm not going to go into much detail, but for example, attack makes it last longer. And I can change the volume, for example. And I'm just randomly clicking around. I don't know how to use this very much, but with a little bit of practice, you can create something that sounds pretty cool. Okay, so you know, something like that. If you want to export it, I don't know what to call it, but you just click export. You export.wave, and you can type in a name, slide. I don't know. And so now here's something really cool though. I click pick up coin and it generated a coin sound effect. Now if I click it again, it sounds different. If I click it again, every time I click it, it generates a different random sound effect. So that's pretty cool. You could click it and get almost an infinite number of sound effects. So we have a number of different options here. Let's check them out. Yeah. So again, you got the settings there, and then here's one thing you can do. If I click, for example, laser shoot, you see we have a number of things up here. This is the category of the type of sound it's made of. If I click square wave, not scare wave. It's a different type of sound effect each time. And you can actually go back and forth between your list and forward. And you can actually mutate it, which changes it a little bit. And now, one problem that you might find with a generator like this, it's only got 7 options, 7 types of sound effects, and they tend to be very retro or 8-bit style sound effects. And so, suppose you don't want sound effects like that and you want to get something a little bit different. Maybe you don't even know what you want, but you just want something cool. So what you can use is this randomize option. What it does is it generates a totally random sound effect. Sometimes it sounds like trash. Sometimes it sounds pretty good though. I've actually made some commercial quality sound effects, for example, like this one right here. That was generated randomly. This was generated randomly.
Audio Jungle.
And some different ones like that. This one was generated randomly.
Jungle.
So, you know, just some different ones like that. I've come up with some pretty cool results. So if I click on it, that time nothing happened. So you're gonna get different random sound effects. A lot of the time, they're not gonna sound very good. But every now and then, if you keep clicking, you'll run across something that actually sounds pretty good. Okay, so let's check out the next one. This is chip tone. It looks a little bit better. It's, I don't know what the word is to describe it, but it's definitely different. So you see we have a number of options here. And so here's one cool thing you can do with this one. Suppose I click on zap. That's a zap. I can actually change the pitch and make it higher and lower, and I can also change the type. So there's a lot of settings up there, and then you have some manual settings like just some different settings there, and you can just edit it and tweak it a little bit, and there's just a lot of settings and knobs to play with, and you can create some pretty cool sound effects though. And so once you're done, you can change the hertz, the bits. Once you're done though, you can just click save.wave and type a name and press enter. And then of course this one has the randomize option, but out of the three, I personally think this website is the worst for the randomizer. It generally almost always never produces anything usable. Okay, so now we come to this last one, BFXR. I think this one is probably the easiest to use, but I think this one right here is my favorite, but you can check them out and come up with your own preference. And so this one, of course, we have several options. And so you notice every time I click on it, it actually creates a title here and a little X button. So that's so if I generate an item and then I generate another one, I can go back to that item. And if I don't want them, I can just X them away. And so again, this has a lot of options. And there's a lot of different options here for creating an interesting sound effect. I don't know what I have here, but again, if you want to save it, export to WAV, random tune 2. I don't think I could even call it that, and I accidentally mistyped it. And again, it has a randomizer. The randomizer is just my favorite thing because you never know what you're going to get. You can get some very cool things. It's just hard, as you can tell. So, anyway, it's like that. And so that's how you use this to generate some very cool sound effects. And so I hope you enjoyed this video, and I just encourage you to get out and check out some of those websites and some of these generation effects. I'll have a link below to check that out, and you can learn how to use those. It's a lot of fun because you never know what you're going to get. Making sound effects is just a lot of fun. And if you don't like how it is, you can just download it and edit it with Audacity. Check out some of our other tutorials. And if you have any questions, be sure to let me know. Just have some fun generating your own sound effects. Be sure to drop a like. And if you enjoy our channel and our tutorials and all that other stuff, be sure to subscribe to us. And again, thank you for watching this video.